All right, welcome back to my channel. Once again, I greet all of you. So this hour, I want to share this very, very important message to us. Many of you know I have issue with some of these people that always claim to know Igbo land more than our forefathers. I've told us an agenda, and that agenda, many of us are not paying attention to that because some people think that it doesn't really matter, but it matters a lot. People that they don't even expect are one of these. They have joined this group, hidden group. And in this video, I will try my best to call your attention to those that are involved and classic of people that are joined or that are involved in that kind of attack. You see, anybody being born in the northern part of Nigeria, and not all of them, some of them, they have different mindset about one Nigeria and about Biafran or Igbo. These are people who believe that Igbo people having their freedom or like Biafran freedom is cutting off their northern part away from them. So they keep on pushing for one Nigeria. And in this video, there's something that Father Oluoma, whom you are seeing now, there's something he said that remind me of something. I begin to say, okay, no wonder. And that is as Ezekiel, that he was born in the north and he grew up in the north. You see the reason why he want to bring everybody together, go and check Nigerian history, and why he stood up pushing for one Nigerian and making some senseless excuses. And people like him, people that grew up in the north as well, are doing the same today. Some married to another people that was born in the north, some married to people that are from the north, and they joined this group. And this forum that you're about to watch took place in Anambra State. Everybody with their own interests. Father Oluoma said that he grew up in the north, and of course, you expect him to behave like northerners, of course. Then again, not everybody that grew up in north, that was born in north, are like that. So don't get me wrong, but there are some people who want their northern love, okay, because the umbilical cord are being buried in the north. So they have something to do with northerners. They cannot, put it away. They felt that once Biafra comes, the half of their life will be cut off. And they're doing everything to bring it, to keep it going, no matter the attack. When a reverend father of Catholic Church open his mouth, begin to Messiah like that, then you know that the journey is too far. And again, the same Father Oluoma have questionable character. Anybody that like Father Mbaka, Bemonso, Father Opunere, these are people that he don't agree with them because he felt that having, being spiritually, spiritually awareness or being spiritually awakened is a kind of not his thing. He may not have the gift that other priests do have, but he's constantly attacking those fathers, those other reverend fathers. I just want to say that because I know I've watched his video. Sometimes he speaks very, very well, but he shares the same ideology with that the priest, a reverend father. Anyway, I don't want to say much. Please pay attention because there's a meeting, there's a gathering that took place in Anambra State where Father Oluoma made a speech, and that speech is what we are here to digest. I want you to hear what he said. And the person that recorded the video that I got the video from his platform is Yam Baba. Yam Baba was there. Udele was there. That Tobe, okay, the one called the man that requested that he want to bury Master Makana alive is there. And this is a good friend of Father Oluoma. Oluoma, you watch videos of Udele demanding how he's going to buy Master Makana, and you are contented with it. You see, these people that we are seeing, that preachers, Nigerian pastors, Nigerian reverend fathers, and nothing but, many of them are very, very, very useless. So to say that if you're a priest watching, put yourself where you belong. I'm not attacking you, I'm just setting the record straight. I find it difficult to believe that you are for God, watching somebody demanding for the death of another, and you feel contented. You are lying yourself with that kind of people. What kind of a pastor are you? Anyway, please pay close attention and let me know what you think. Before we go further, I want you to like this video and share it on many platforms of your choice. Some of you watch without, liking or sharing. Anyway, please, I'm begging you to do the needful, do justice to that. like the video and share it to many platforms of your choice. I want you to observe the faces that in the group. I'm not saying you should go and attack them. Why I say you should observe them is because I want you to understand the people that we are dealing with. And these are more deadly than Fulani themselves. Whether you like it or not, that's not the fact. Because without them, Fulani will not do what they're doing. Without them, Masakano case would have been different. Without them, there will not be pointing fingers at agitators and Biafran freedom. These are just few people to compare thousands and millions of Biafrans all over the world. Oluoma have made his choice just like Jovika, the Anglican priest. You know, I told you some time ago that some of you that are Anglican, you are an Anglican, don't be angry with me. Once I see, even though you're a Catholic priest, once I notice that you're, I will say the same thing because evil is evil. I cannot start, turning my voice down because he's a Catholic priest. No, hear him.
To talk to us on healing. Thank you very much. After that, we'll continue with our interactions and question and answers. There will be plenty of room to express yourself. Thank you very much.
Okay, I wanted to say praise the Lord, but this is so Igbo Kwen. Igbo Kwen. Kwezono. Dr. Nelson, I don't know why people gave me the topic healing. Is it because I'm a priest? So let me begin with a story. That's what we do. An Igbo man accompanied his friend to a burial in one part of Nigeria. It's a story. In fact, he said he went with his other friend from the north, one from the southwest, a Yoruba, and then they went to this burial somewhere in the south. So when the corpse was to be lowered, they discovered people putting money and other things. And somebody there now told them, put money. And they were like, why are you putting money? They say it's their custom here, their tradition, that when you are burying somebody, you put money so that the person will have something as he journeys to the other world. So the Hausa guy put 100,000. The Yoruba guy put another 100,000. And that's 200,000. Then they told the Igbo guy, well, he brought out his checkbook and he wrote 350,000, put it inside a casket and removed the 200,000 that his friends put and put in his pocket. And they say, Oga, what is the problem? He said, my friends contributed 100,000. I contributed 150 to make it 350. So I wrote a check for him. You know, there are armed robbers on the way. So it better he goes with the check so that nobody will rob him. The first point of that story is Igbos were, in quote, known to be wise. We literally took the wise men from the Bible and personalized it. So that's why we say wise men from the East. Among all the stereotypes of tribes in Nigeria, some right, some wrong, Igbos, we usually see ourselves or tout ourselves as wise. And there's a reason for that. You know, that the Igbo man can turn even burials into a money-making opportunity. So Igbos know how to take opportunities. Then the second thing I want us not.
So you hold on, you can hear him, okay, establishing his statement that Igbos are wise, we are smart bots. Okay, that's bot, and that bot is the reason why we are here. So please pay attention to that.
Profits more when he mixes with a larger group of persons. That it is not against our nature, culture, history to be isolated, to be on our own.
So that he's trying to tell you that one Nigeria is the best, that you have a very wide landmark to, that is opportunity. You get the point now. So But asking why can't you, instead of one Nigeria, since our target and our aim is to expand, why can't we start talking about one united West Africa? Ndoshi.
Mix with people of different culture. That is a historical fact. Any other thing that happened in history are what we may call circumstances beyond our control. The circumstances within our control is that we intentionally, deliberately mix with other people. The first time I came very close to the Civil War and all of its anguish was when I read Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda. And to be honest with you, today I have not completed that novel. I got to a particular point. I couldn't contain it. I left it. I know that war is not our problem, I can tell you.
Now listen to Father Oluoma. That the first time he came in close to the war is when he read a book, Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda. Okay? And he confessed that he was able to finish the novel. Why? Because he couldn't content what Chimamanda said in that novel because he maybe Chimamanda says something that he don't like or something that he don't see as the truth story about the novel, about the war. He stopped reading it. He's not telling that our evil problem is not the war. Gent. It just says that he told us that so many people are part of this problem. And as God may have it, many of them are coming up now, telling you their own where they belong. Who would have believed Wazirike is one of the reasons why PM is jailed? One of the reasons why Mascan is still where he is. Using Bianco, no. That Bianca approached him and said, this appointment, I don't want to appear as if I'm against Master Monocan and all that. Uche Chicano, of course, is in contact with Wazirike. Both of them are working together. After all this thing nonsense they have been doing, and they came together and conclude that Bianca should go. And we have seen what Bianca did. His first assignment is what? To push Finland to JPM Samarepa, Uche Chicano. You get the point. Now they go in Ghana South and all that, just like Jovika. Just like Jovika. These people, is either their mother slept with Fulani and not another, or their father and their mother are just Fulani pretending to be Igbo, or both of them, their father and mother are Igbos that reside in the north. And they're the main problem of our people, whether you like it or not. And some of them are giving birth, born the same children with the same mentality. Those of you shying away now that they are very small in number, remember, these effluves are giving birth to the new breed and teaching them the same concocted story, so that when they grew up, they become another problem to your own offspring that you are giving birth to now in America, in Canada, in part of Europe, that don't even know how to speak Igbo very well. So imagine the battle ahead. Now go again. No, come back. I think I click on something. Let me know.
Kwezono.
No, go back.
And put in his pocket. And they say, Oga, what is the problem? He say, we only see ourselves or doubt ourselves as wise. And there is a reason for that. You know, that the Igbo man can turn even burials into. The circumstances within our control is that we intentionally, deliberately mix with other people. The first time I came very close to the Civil War and all of its anguish was when I read Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, today I have not completed that novel. I got to a particular point. I couldn't contain it. I left it. I know that war is not our problem, I can tell you. Those who experience that war, many of them have moved on. I can say that as a tribe, we have hid from that war. But for some reason, misinformation, propaganda, we go and open up the wounds again and then make us susceptible. So, talking to us about healing from whatever trauma, I will say that the first thing that we need to heal, if anybody is still carrying the trauma of that war, the first thing we need is the truth. The truth and nothing but the truth. Jesus says in John 8, you shall know the truth and the truth will set you free.
Now, to him, he's in search of truth, but he refused to continue reading half of Yellow Sun of by Chimamanda because he couldn't contend the truth. Now, he wants us to believe that Chimamanda is not saying the truth. You that have the truth, what is your source? Because he started by telling that the first time he came close to that war, civil war, meaning that he don't have access to story that tells the war in the past. Now, if you don't have access, this is first time you're close to the war, the story of the war. Since if that is the case, then how do you now know that what Chimamanda said is not the truth? And what is the yardstick that you use in measuring the fact in what Chimamanda said? And the one you claim that you have, where did you get it from? You get the point now. Asking what can be what okay, guy bank. Ofu bakara ndị nke ọzọ na nka asị na ọkpara ya na aja ọfịa na ifo ji ebute nkwụ ambachada mma bụ na ọ ga na ọfịa na ada kpakọ wee gakpa nkụ. So that is, so you know what I mean. Now you hear him.
And I think that's what this conversation is all about. We must tell ourselves the truth. The truth that voices like Udele have been shouting, the truth that people like Prof. Right.
So in summary, the truth is just like what Udele, Oluoma, that the first time he came close to the story of the war, meaning that he know nothing about it, and he stopped reading the novel because he don't believe it. Then he's not giving you examples of the sources where you cannot get the truth. And that truth, one of it is Udele. Okay, Reverend Father. And he's watching this Udele, bragging how he will buy a book. Someone's supposed to be because this man, Reverend Father, is supposed to be in line with Ebukobi. At least they're Christians. But Udele is waging war against Christianity, against Igbo people. Everything Igbo people represent. So Father Oluoma is and all the equipment, the Holy Communion. Against
it's about in politics, the truth that Kelechi Deka and Co, the truth that we've been listening to the present governor of Anambra State, Chasoludo. He has been saying, and today.
So these are the people that are giving him, like Yam Baba, this native doctor here, Tobe. Soludo is saying the truth. Udele is saying the truth. Hi. Chineke very bad. Ndo kanto. Chineke. Hi.
Since I came here, I've been enjoying a whole lot of historical, firearms. We must tell our people the truth.
You have to tell your own family. I don't blame you though.
Nothing his but the truth. Pepper them with the truth. Don't pamper them with lies, falsehoods, and swashbuckling tales of things that never were and may never ever be. And the first truth I need us to keep telling our people is historical truth. What is historical truth? Many Igbos, those in this generation who have been given false information, think that we were forced suddenly to become part of Nigeria. As if it is becoming Nigeria that has made Igbo people to leave Igbo land to go to places like Lagos, Kano, and other places to settle. That's not true.
Now, I want you to hear his own logic. Please, this video may be long because I wanted to run a live stream on that, but I said no. I just finished the live stream before starting recording this video. So I will record it and go my duty, then come back later. Okay, because I have to have other things to engage. But the reason why I have to record this video because you never can tell. I don't want to bypass this information. This very man here, who know nothing about the Civil War, is telling you that we are not being forced to be in Nigeria. Then what is the essence of the war? As Igbos have already declared, this man, okay, you don't know about the pogrom. You grew up in the north, and he will tell you that that he lives in the north and he's not dead. Because of this kind of people. Because of this kind of people. Now hear him.
Igbos started mass migration from Igbo land long before Nigeria existed. If you go and Google, from the 1900s, as my brother said, it's a historical fact. From the 1900s, Igbo started moving to other parts of Nigeria. That's why Azikiwe, Nnamdi Azikiwe, he was born in 1904. Where? Zungeru, Niger State. So if he was born in 1904, that means his parents went there as early as 1800s. They lived there, built houses there, did businesses. Nobody marginalized them.
Now, at that time, as this man, are you saying that no northerners have ever stepped their foot on Igbo land, like in Igbo soil? So, because, okay, if that is how you judge existence to form a country, since Britain invaded Nigeria, okay, invaded our land, are there none Igbo people? Like, are there none part of Igbo? Nobody Azikiwe, who they were born from the north and all that, who was born in the north and all that. And you can see the reason why he is very, very much in love in one Nigeria. Nobody Azikiwe. You ask this man, since they born Azikiwe there, nobody Azikiwe there, does that mean that his father turned to a Nigerian, a Muslim or a northerner because of that? So, because you born somebody there, it means that Igbos are traveling and because we are traveling, so we want Nigeria. Then, even if everything was moving fine, then there's something that started happening that you need to readjust. Program, war, and everything that took place. This man is saying that that is our fault. Okay,
nobody killed them. That's where Azikiwe grew, Zungeru. Another popular Nigerian, I can't remember, was also born in Zungeru. Is it Cyprian Ekwensi, one of the finest writers? He was born in Zungeru, Niger State. Either him or Kaduna, Chukuma Kaduna, Nzogu. Many Igbos, so before Nigeria came to be, Igbos had migrated out to other parts of Nigeria. Ojuku's father, Sir Louis Ojuku, made his money where? In Lagos State. From 1929, he became the first billionaire in Nigeria. He was so rich that when Queen Elizabeth visited Nigeria, it was his Rolls Royce that was used to drive the Queen. His wealth was made in Lagos State.
All this thing is just to tell you that you're supposed to be very, very thankful that Nigerian exists.
You could say the same thing about so many other prominent Igbo people. So before Nigeria came to be in 19 around the 40s or thereabout, 1940, when the British now merged us together. Then we got our independence in 19.
So since you are together, according to your history, that historical fact again, Igbos have already been in these places. That is, we are not being forced in Nigeria. Then what is the essence of merging together? You have given the history why Nigeria, nobody forced us to be together, right? According to your history. Then you now ended up saying that when British came, then they brought us together in 1914. But in 1800, according to you, it was already everywhere. So if you're everywhere, then why didn't Britain see us as one? Since you're already everywhere and it's integrated, nobody's killing anybody. I've told you that these people are your number one problem. These people, Forget about henchmen and all those things. There are problems to other places. The main problem is this group. They are the main problem. I'm not saying anything you should go and attack them. It's up to you though. But I'm telling you the fact. I'm telling you the fact that they are the main problem. Some of them are born in Igbo land. But anybody standing like this, people who know how to tell you negative stories and ignore the real facts. Even if everybody is together and the moment you started killing people, pogrom and what have you, QCQS, and ended up declaring that with Biafra, not even to separate you, but for restructuring, for a better Nigerian as you claim you are. You don't talk about it. Yeah, they're blaming Ojukwu, they're blaming everybody. Ojukwu father will make money in Lagos, and so what? So Yoruba people that made money in London, in UK, they are now, because of that, Yoruba should be reintegrated to Britain. That's what they're saying now. That's what they're saying.
1960. So before Nigeria came to be, our people were already migrating. And for the fact that their host communities gave them places to stay, is to let you know that those people were hospitable, they were welcoming, and they were kind. I have lived all my life in the north. I grew up in the north.
I have lived all my life in the north. I grew up in the north. No wonder. What is the difference between what is man pushing with that of Zeke? And our people that were born in the east are now turned to listener. Why this northerners are preaching to you? You see, it's not because their name is Okechukwu, Oluoma, and Olumba nonsense. Are they truly have the same ideology with you? The answer is no, because they are bread and butter in the north. And some of them, the umbilical cord is being buried in the north, like I told you earlier. And this thing has some negative, effect in what is playing out. Their own is to voice out and begin to preach what they cannot even justify. Imagine a priest who would expect them, like this man, one would expect him to be more reasonable, right? At least to know to value life. They have not been killed. He don't want to talk about what about the fellow priest being massacred by the one ideology. That's why if I hear that there was one church is being born, honestly, I don't move my energy, because one of our major problem is Christianity. I'm a Catholic, a born Catholic. I'm rooted in Catholic Church. I'm telling you, but you see, Catholic Church is one of the major problems why we are facing what we are facing today. All the bishop and the priests, they keep on telling their parishioners in the diocese, don't talk about Biafra. I'm telling you the fact. They don't want to talk about our freedom because the federal government is pampering them, telling them what to talk and what not to do. They politicize the church. Whether you like, I'm not saying that. I'm just listening. I am a Christian and I'm a Catholic, but I'm telling you the gospel truth because I know where the whole thing is heading to. I cannot sit down because you're a priest and you're a bishop, you'll be lying from pulpit. No, I will tell you because I know that at the end of the day somebody will die because of your stupidity. Most of them, because they don't marry. Even the pastor who married as well. Private jet everywhere. Okay? But are there for you? No. They use their followers to build themselves, to reach themselves. Any paradigm fancy, people are outside. Young ones, young priests, young pastors are dying, paying the price for the GO and the mommy GO, bishop and cardinal. And these people are not they are not for you. Look at Oluoma, telling you that he grew up in the north. So because you grew up in the north, you also should migrate to north. Because you grew up in the north. All of us should start behaving like a northerner. Deal with it. You grew up there. Am I the one that say you should go and stay in the north? It's your life. Live it, enjoy it. But don't lie because you want us to start to accommodate you. Because the truth of the matter is that these people see it as if Biafran comes, part of their life will be cut off.
Schooled in the north, lived with them, and all of that. I have not died, and all of that.
So before he agree with you, he must die. Before he will not agree, he don't want you to learn or see through what is going on. How about the current event? This guy is not saying this in 60s. So in this time that churches have been born, Christians have been born, people are pushing for jihad, which prohibits the existence of this man as a priest. Because in jihad system, you will not talk about Bible and the other things you are doing. You will not, they're not. But he's telling you, let us remain one intact and one. Children are in bush, people are being kidnapped, beheading people on camera. Although, am I surprised? Somebody who is preaching, who is promoting, telling you to go and they will grab your own truth from the platform. A man that is calling for the head of Oebukobi, head of pastors, head of mass Namarikan, he's gonna buy this one or buy this one. The other short engine called, which is part of them, I don't know, maybe because that one is very, very brief. Maybe the cameraman may not pick him up, may not capture him in this group now. That short engine called his name is what is he called? Keshos. What did he say? Because I played that video in our live broadcast. I think I need to remind you what he said again. Let me see if I can get hold of that video. This father said a lot of foolish things in this video. So many foolish things that he said. Now hear this one. So you understand?
All who believe that Nnamdi Kanu is bringing Biafra for you. Shame on you all who believe that IPOB is bringing Biafra for you. Shame on you all who are promoting the atrocity committed by these people, by the claim agitators in social media. Shame on you people.
Now, get it.
Emegbu
Aga m egbu unu. Why am I even playing this? This is the people that Oluoma. This is
that
source of Oluoma.
we are migratory in nature. Why? Because anywhere there is an opportunity.
Can you just shut up for once? This is the type of the people that Oluoma is telling you where to get your info fast. He said a lot of nonsense here in this video. Okay? I know that he's not for good. The moment he begin to attack some priest of God, like Father Mbaka, okay, and he begin to question, attack Ebukobi. I'm not a fan of Ebukobi, but no matter what, you claim to be a priest of God, that you cannot deliver people. You are not spiritually infilled. You are not spiritually awoken. You are not filled with the Holy Spirit to operate like Mbaka do, like Ebemonso, like Ebukobi, like what is his name? Okunere. I'm not a fan of Ebukobi because his own is somehow questionable. But this man want to sound, he sounds like the Daddy Freeze. Okay, and people actually love it, you know, because they think no matter how decent you think you are, you must, once you are engaged, you are a friend to this kind of people like Udele, of all people. No matter what you are doing, it's not my thing, to be honest. Anyway, I will play it a little bit, then we'll end it because the video is getting too long.
An Igbo man wants to do what? Wants to take it. And that's part of what makes us great. That is in the area we liken ourselves to the Jews. Anywhere there is opportunity, we want to be there.
Election victory begins with a good media.
That is Oluoma for you. Okay, and he said a lot of nonsense, like I told you. Most of the things he said here is in the mind of Udele, Jovika, Yambaba, and of course, those ones that are hiding like Tobe and the rest of them. What he said is exactly what those ones are. You know what I mean? But the question is, why Father Oluoma? Why?
Opportunity. So let's stop creating the impression or listen to those who make it look like our being in other places was because all of a sudden Nigeria happened and they came and deported us to Babylon, to other places, and now we want to come back. That's not a historical truth. And if you read history, you will know that this thing we are talking about, marginalization, is accident of history. The trajectory before was that everywhere you go, when Nigeria was made, everywhere you go, Igbos dominated in education, in civil service, in military. That's why you have an Igbo man, Chukuma, Kaduna, Nzogu. He was in charge of what? Military in the north. Oh, I think Ojukwu the same thing before he was redeployed. There were historical things that happened. You could say they were beyond anybody's control. So it's not like the other part of Nigerians sat down, strategically planned to come and put us in a situation where we found ourselves. We are also part of the mistakes that got us to where we are. So the first point I want to make is history. Read history. History does not lie. It's only those who narrate it.
It's a lie. History lie if the writer lies. Okay, so don't say history does not lie. This is lie. History can lie. Okay, if the writer of the history lies, like you, imagine history that you and Udele, published. What do you expect from that kind of history? Because you target the history, that means you don't lie. No.
And we interpret it that may lie. History does not lie. Igbos have benefited from Nigeria. Nigeria has benefited from Igbos. If you see it this way, then you remove every hatred, anger, bitterness. Because you cannot heal when there is hatred, when there is anger, when there is bitterness. And these are part of things that make Igbos to detach themselves from the Nigerian state, making it look like Nigeria is a cancer, that if you don't kill it, it will kill you. That's not true.
That is true. That is true. But I'm coming to those nonsense that he said, because each time you open his mouth, you can see, a lot of things that comes out from his mouth smelling.
To right the wrongs in the society, you cannot come from a place of anger, you cannot come from a place of bitterness, you cannot come from a place of hatred. You can all those things will only make you self-inflict yourself, self-sabotage. There are no two ways about it. History does not lie. It has never worked anywhere that people who approached wrong from hatred, anger, bitterness, and those kind of cynicism that we see here ever made any headway. It can never work. It has never worked before. It has never worked before. Then the second point I want us to learn from the history is this. Why did Nnamdi Azikiwe's parents leave the Alibo as early as the 1800s? Why did our fathers, let me not call them forefathers because they are not too far. Why did they leave Alibos to go to other places? It's simple. Opportunities are in other places. Then this nostalgia we are having about a Biafra that seems to be the Garden of Eden, where things were 100% perfect before Nigeria happened. It's illusion. It's illusion. There was never a time the Southeast was like Dubai before Nigeria happened and things started scattering. There was never a time like that. In fact, before Nigeria happened, there was no such thing like Anambra, Enugu, Imo, Ohaneze Ndigbo. There was nothing like that. We were all splinter groups in our different enclaves. And we also fought wars among ourselves, in case you didn't know. There were communal clashes, inversions, and all of that. The remote man in Imo State, I'm sure, didn't even know that the remote Igbo man in Abakaleke or Ebonyi State ever existed. We were just normal communities who were existing and eking out livings in our traditional way. So anybody who is giving you any fantastic idea of a Biafra that existed where job opportunity was 100/1, where there was a land flowing with milk and honey and all of that, it's not true. If you want an Igbo land where milk and honey flow, then we have to start producing it ourselves, strategically, intentionally, and with all that is in our blood.
But in all sincerity, do we call Fulani? Like his stature? Doesn't he look like? Do you understand? I'm just saying, one thing they need to understand is this. Nobody said our land is Biafran. When Biafran, in the olden days, there's a Biafra that would look like Dubai. I don't know. Nobody says that. We knew when the Biafran was declared, and we understand what happened after that. When people talk about the way of the old, how people were living and all that, and how foolish of you, because it is foolish of you to even think that in the north where they gave birth to you, according to you say you grew up there, that they don't live like community like that. Do you have Zamfara, Kebbi State, Yobe State, Maiduguri? But you see how you are bashing the people. You don't have something like Anambra. Do you have Lagos in those days? The answer is no. The same thing applicable to those other regions. They know how to undermine Igbo people and talk down on people to elevate where their umbilical cord is being buried. They know how to lie, they know how to deceive, to change the narrative, making people who are setting the record straight look so dumb. Just hear yourself. So all these Abuja and Sokoto State and all this, is that, I know you don't even know that what Sokoto called in those days. Okay, you don't know. If you don't even know history of Biafra Civil War, that even Chimamadan, half of Yellow Sun is what actually, when you came close to know what happened in the Civil War, that means you have a long way to go. So you don't deserve to talk to Igbo people because you know nothing about our culture, nothing whatsoever in the history. Here's the history queen. That Ojukwu, Zeke was born, his parents lived. That is what you want to use to justify everybody. How about us that did not travel? So you are coming from the north where they born you to tell us how our region is, how it used to be. We are not in position to address anybody. Nobody says that Biafra is 100% Dubai and all that. But since you are using Dubai as an example, do you have Fulani herdsmen moving their cattle in the streets of Dubai? Do you have Fulani cattle? Do you have anybody pushing for jihad in the city of Dubai? As Dubai is Emirates, you don't give people short leave in Dubai, do you? But in some other part of the Emirates, you can do that. Why are they segregated? Because they want to use this state to make money from the world and maintain their so-called belief system in the other part of the Emirates. You that is talking in the north, that means what happened in Emirates is actually this, what do you call the restructuring. The same Ojukwu demanded. You don't. How many of you praise Ojukwu for that? No. I'm going to end it with this. Those of you that are yet to marry, this battle, this message you are seeing today is part of the problem. You want to marry every Chorigan wife, you know you. What do I know? We give what I can you go more. You can't report at the beginning and why. Some of you want to why you are gonna work only about you, Mamma boy, you matter. Ibulo toja, na mota Yeremia doesn't need. Nan, I can ask you, but I call you, so can live, I call the candy, but I found on the Bible. By birth, DNA is not there. Everything we are talking about, Biafra is not about hate. That's where they're getting it wrong. It's not about hate. You don't love other Nigerians more than people Japanese Biafra. And I will tell you why. Because that is the eye-opener. To let them know that Fulani have an agenda for them not to lose their heritage. People like you saying, come together. You are doing that for your lineage, where you come from. Oluoma, I don't see you as an Igbo man from today henceforth, because even your body structure. Sometimes not just can do moka na woka tomboy, umoke na chakata why. Yeah, show me so English my phone, my show me English my phone, umoka na umoka na beche na to on wine with handbag. Name make up. Well, igna guy carry my shoulder everything they can why. So, and you can only see that from Fulani. Look at the Buhari, take a hanger, iron hanger. Believe it. Please, I'm going to end it here. You can go to the Yamaba platform and watch the remaining one. This is we have played it 19 minutes, and the total video is 27 plus. Okay, so I'm going to end it here. I'm sorry about it because of the time. This is 44 minutes, going to 45. Please like the video and let me know what you think about all we discuss. So, but there are so many things to talk about this video. I'm not going to lie, but I will end it here. God bless you and take care of yourself.